Hi folks, Scott here, and this is the wrap for Tuesday, June 25th. So I'm doing this video a little bit prior to the end of the day. It's about 3:40 Eastern Time. This might be maybe a little bit choppy if I have to pause. I'm actually long on a break of this ascending wedge to the upside. Nice technical discretionary trade, taking advantage of sort of an early entry in the gotcha. This is sort of a way to think about what I'm doing. Gotcha trade is a trade in the direction of an unfilled up gap at the end of the day. Something we do here at Master Gap quite a bit. It's a derivative trade of historical probabilities, which is why I have so much confidence in it, and it's a great little trade. So anyhow, while that's running, we're a little bit early. I want to talk about what tomorrow may bring us. Maybe hard to see, but that's an unfilled up gap. The low of the day was above the blue line. Let me see if I can see it more clearly on a 5-minute chart. So here's the ES. The low is 1570. Missed the gap fill by about 4 points, which is actually quite a bit. These are other markets here. So we have an unfilled up gap, and yesterday was a 20-day low close. 20-day low close, and we have an unfilled up gap today. So to expand the sample size a little bit, I've tested the following. An unfilled up gap today, or the prior day, because we're looking forward as if this were tomorrow. So you're following an unfilled up gap, and one of the two prior days was a 20-day low close, and you're above the 200. Go to Gap Trader, and there are the results. 50-50 in terms of which way we're likely to gap the next day. Pretty neutral, maybe a tad weak on win rate on down gaps, and up gaps have made a little bit of money. Small sample size, but let me show you the impact. I can't promise you that I check this before I run these, but when I notice it, I'll try to point it out. No guarantees. But look what happens when you add a reasonable intraday stop on the ES. These are the parameters we use for Master Gap. 30% of the 5-day ATR, 12-point max, 5-point minimum. You know, which means for the most part 30% of the 5-day ATR. Watch how the numbers change. It goes from 11 wins and 9 wins to, drum roll, making some money on the shorts, to losing money on the longs. So you lose, what, 4 of those 11 winners. You would have been stopped out before it reversed and became a winner. You lose a couple of your shorts too. So it really tells me the short side appears to be a little bit riskier. And this is a fairly small sample size, a little bit nuanced, but conceptually the logic makes sense. We're oversold. I should say there's strong momentum to the downside, and though oversold, or because we're oversold, we're able to get an unfilled up gap the next day. But if you gap down the next day, if there's no continuation on that gap, then watch out. It could be a little tricky for buying a down gap. So don't assume that a gap down is a safe play tomorrow. That's really the takeaway here. All right, let's look at actually a reminder, time is running out. There's been some questions and some confusion about our advanced study research project that Tim has led and done an excellent job on for crude oil. That webinar is tomorrow, and that is a paid event. So if you're looking for something to diversify, looking to trade oil with some awesome information, looking for a trade that you could enter, get set up around 9:15, 9:20, and then roll right into your setting up your gap trades, this is maybe the perfect thing for you. So check it out. It is a paid event. Follow that link or go to all products and learn more there. Lots of great information that we've included there that'll help you better trade crude oil. All right, and again, the price goes up next day, which is Thursday. So deadline is tomorrow. If you can't make the webinar event, the recording will be sent to you. All right, let me show you actually worksheet for today. All the indices gapped up around yesterday's highs for the most part, opening above the highs, which is what the ES did. Only a 45% win rate historically. Made a little bit of money with a 1.2 profit factor, but even gapping down between the high and the close, just dead neutral. And so there's clearly some risk here. After an unfilled down gap, generally a big positive. Good sample size here too, under similar market conditions. Unfilled down gap really shows you momentum to the downside. So I'm just going to jump right into my comments. The video wrap last night showed fading up gaps after 30-day low close were problematic historically. So you've got this, basically you're oversold with momentum as shown in the form of an unfilled down gap opposing it. And you've got technical price action, primarily short-term technicals, which is what our gap guides and range guides are great at, showing neutral to weak probabilities. So easy one for me to pass on, but I certainly thought there was a chance we'd make a run at gap fill, and that's what I explained to folks in the trading room, and that's why I said I'll wait for the range guides and look for opportunities in both directions. Right? Let them give you the lead to sort through who's winning at that time, and then follow their leads. So that was my plan. That was a good plan because we made a partial run at gap fill, broke the 15-minute lows. The data was mixed. It actually favored the low breakout, but not strong enough for me. So I passed on it as a straight probability-based trade, but I did set up a discretionary short on a bounce back up that tested I think I was short 75 and a quarter, 75.50, got +5 on half. In fact, I almost caught the very low of the day. That was just luck. It was 70 and a quarter +5. I was holding the Russell just above gap fill, which it missed. I cut my stop at -3. It reversed, stopped me out at a netting, I think, 1 or 2 points per contract. So not a big win. I am long right now. Gotcha may set up. We're going to a little bit of a pullback here. So if we break this trend line, I'll be looking more than likely to the long side, or may even take a speculative long. No, we're getting close to the open. So anyhow, there's some various forms and shapes of optimal times to enter. That information is explained in our discussion forum. And with that, I'm going to get back into the trading room, and I wish you a good night. Have a good one.